I'm just curious, how is there mice turd up in the roof lining? Like, really? Look at it. There's a lot of it. And I just got showered in all of it. Welcome back to Backyard Builds. Look at what has made a return to the shed. Ooh. Here we go. So, the Falcon ute is back in the shed. And I've got about 8 weeks. So I kind of jumped the gun a bit tonight. Windscreen's back out of it. Roof lining's out of it. The rear screen's coming out tomorrow night. And I'm going to have to clean up all the mouse turds in a minute. But the reason for the 8-week push is I've taken it on a journey to Gloucester, up to the mud run event up there. And I'm going to be driving it. So it doesn't look like I've got a lot of work to do, but I've got a rear parcel shelf rush repairs to do. Finish the brake conversion. Quarter rust repairs to do. Some other rust in there to do. And there'll be a montage of photos of all the work that I've done to this since you've last seen it, which was like 3 or 4 years ago now, maybe. Yeah, stay tuned. Lining is out, and as you can see, I got showered in mouse shit. Ooh. Next up is the rear screen, so I can fix the parcel shelf. Nasty. I'm probably going to need to put some car builders on this and get rid of all this garbage. Might have to do something about that. Might just treat it actually. Is that a fucking... I can't get it off my face. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. I think it said milk at some stage. Alright, so after thinking about it, I know what the fuck that is. That is an old Cadbury chocolate wrapper. Sure it is. those of you that are new to the channel, this is my 1963 XL Falcon ute, and the game plan over the next couple episodes is actually to get this cab sealed back up. As you can see, I've popped both screens out. I've got parcel shelf rust repair to do. The actual channel where the screen rubber sits on is actually pretty good, except for right in the corner where it would have been leaking, hence why I've got a rusty parcel shelf, because everywhere else is actually pretty mint. But to add, I've got to do quarter panel rust repairs that will seal the tub up, then will also help seal the cab up, because I have a fuel tank I want to put back in and do fuel lines. So my first major task is get this cab sealed back up, get the tank back in, get it running again, and then I can move on to finishing off the brakes, and then I can actually have it mobile again, and then start another list of what needs to be done for the road trip. So yeah, there's probably going to be a lot more time-lapse footage of this car, mainly because of the time frame, but we'll see how we go. So the screens are out of it now. Now, all I'm using to get rid of the old glue residue is just some terps and microfiber cloth. And as you can see, it's got rid of all that. I've just left it half and half just to show you the before and after. And it's pretty clean except for the corners, so that's kind of a win. So yeah. Yeah, as you can see, maybe just a little bit of elbow grease and a bit of rubbing. Comes right out if you're patient enough. Mint. As you can see, I've unpicked the parcel shelf, made a template beforehand because I wasn't sure how many pieces this was going to come out in. So that's out there now. I've got to clean up this top edge and get these side sections out and unpick underneath the rest of the parcel shelf. If I can't see what I'm doing. Hang on. And unpick the rest of. Oop, where are we? Nope, not there. Unpick the rest of this, but there is like a million spot welds, so I'll be here for a while. Kind of snowballed a little bit, as it always does with rust, but anyway. Unpicked this lower section of the rear windscreen panel, and I've got to finish unpicking all the parcel shelf where it wrapped under and wrapped around and then spot welded into this. So I'll finish unpicking all that, and then I've got to treat all this because it's crusty, but I can live with that. I'll just treat it all, rust treat it, and then finish unpicking all that, clean all this up. Now, where's my drill? I just, where the fuck is it? I used one of these, spot weld drill bits. Now, I can actually sharpen these, but I sharpened it a little bit too well, and I may have went through, which is a bit annoying, so I'm gonna have to go through to weld those up. Anyway, shit happens. But I'm surprised it's not rustier, because that's just actually raw fucking steel. So the fact that it's not all rusted out is actually surprising. So I got all that unpicked. So now I just got to go through, straighten it all back out where I've damaged it, weld some holes in, back so it's all just fresh sheet metal again. Treat all the crusty stuff, get all the flaky shit off, treat it all, and weld through put some weld through primer on it, and then once I get my new parcel shelf folded up and the beads in it, I can set it back in there and just check it all and make sure I get it all in the right spot. And then I just got to work out how many pieces I want to make this, because I'm not exactly sure. Because this will be one piece coming like up. I had two bits on the side to fold down and spot welded to the side, and then that was obviously spot welded like that, and then this goes under and back and gets spot welded along that back, and then that gets spot welded to that. So I'm just trying to, and I'm gonna have to probably cut this out and add a new folded section of that back, just because that's crusty in between the two bits of sheet metal. And obviously weld all these holes up, ready for it to be spot welded again. Alright, so I thought I'd better explain like what I was thinking a little bit better. So I put it back, in the rusty shit back in position. So what I'm going to end up doing is, when I make this panel, have it come all the way across and back down so I can get spot welded, and then this will then get plug welded back to the parcel shelf once I replace that. And then that little lip there is for the vinyl or the MDF to clip into. So that's what I'll be measuring now. So what I'm going to do is take this one back off, clamp this in position properly, and I can measure from this edge all the way to this back edge. So yeah, so I should be able to measure from this edge to here. I'm going to have to try and pick a spot that's straight, so I might go ahead and straighten that first and do a couple of reference checks from a few different points, and then pick something I'm happy with. So I'll have to check all this because it is pretty flimsy now that all that's unpicked. But yeah. So what I learnt, I run the tape measure across, and you can actually, you might be able to see it in the camera, this panel actually has a not severe, but a curve through it. So it measures about 210 in the guts, and both ends are 220. So now that I know that, I can at least get a cut size for this piece. So I've done some rough workings out here. So 12mm down, it's 220 across. Now, I'm not going to have a cut size for this. I'm going to have to fold up a sample to see how much this grows and shrinks when I fold it in the press, because I need to fold that into it. So I won't actually know that until I fold up a sample. But then once I fold the sample up, work out how much it grows or shrinks, depending on what I end up doing, will determine the actual overall cut size. But that will give me a rough idea of what I need to cut anyway for my sample. So that's tomorrow's problem. So got myself some stainless steel round bar, and what I'm going to do is shape it into the same profile as the bead, And I don't have any fancy tools like a lathe or anything like that, so I'm going to be using a sander and just rotating it on the bench until I get it even enough to match that profile, and then cut a section off and weld that to 16 by 16 mil square stock that will go into the power hammer. So it turns out I actually forgot I had these little just makeshift jigs. These were actually made for welding up pipe. They worked okay, but I've repurposed them, and they kind of worked alright. The bearings are shot, so it doesn't really spin that well. But as you can see, it's the right. Where are we? There we are. Profile. Where are we? So it matches the profile. So what I'm going to do now is just to smooth out it a bit nicer. I'm just going to use a what I call just a brown pad. It's used for polishing, but well, essentially that's what I'm doing here anyway. So, but that will get any rough bits out and smooth that off. So there's no like that. That there will mark the steel. So if I make it all nice and smooth again, it should be sweet. So got it cut down. Now, if anyone's wondering, there we are. Why we did it out of round, it was just easier to get that radius and profile. You don't have to, because it doesn't actually spin, because I'm going to weld that to that, and then this tool steel goes into the power hammer, which you'll see tomorrow night, in the next couple of minutes in this video. So yeah, I'm going to weld that to that, and as you can see, like before, matches that profile pretty good, so I'm going to run with that. What'd you do here, Tom? That's definitely not square. Come on, mate. Alright, I'll have to just cut the end off so I can square it up in the bandsaw, then I can weld it on. So I thought I would take this opportunity to explain how I'm going to tack this. So I'm actually going to use these square edges to my advantage. So I'm going to tack it on four points in the four corners, instead of tacking it, say, in the middle, because that's going to want to pull towards the heat a lot more than if I tack it here. It's still going to pull, but it's a lot less than if I was to tack it underneath, because it's going to want to pull over. So that's what I'm going to do now. Got that welded up. It's pretty good. It pulls to one side just a little bit, but it's not the end of the world, because again, it goes just up and down. So it's not super critical, but that's just me being fussy. So yeah, and we'll have to cut that down when we have it in the machine. I'll do it for now. Let that cool down, and I'll move on to something else. So as you can see here on these end panels, they've got the smallest step, a step there, because that's the rear firewall, and then that step there is for the rear parcel shelf. It gets spot welded to that. So I've essentially just replicated that with the step bead in the bead roller, and you would have seen me offset that, because there's some play in that shaft that I'm going to have to fix or work out. Probably want to upgrade this soon anyway to something with a pedal. I want to keep me nice little chain steering, because that's it. But anyway, so I offsetted that to make it tighter, because originally it's a wide step and I wanted something a bit tighter to match the original So now I've marked out my folds. I'll notch that in there because that's actually a return down. And so hopefully my workings out actually work. I'll fold the sample up tomorrow and hopefully I can keep these.